Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about Hansi Flick because there was a viral image and a viral video that went viral in regards to the interaction between Raphinha and Hansi Flick, and we're going to be talking about that. And as well, we'll be talking about Ronald Araujo in a little bit more detail as he still hasn't recovered from that game in midweek against Chelsea. When we're talking about when could we be expecting his return, and towards the end, I want to be talking about Real Madrid very briefly as they have dropped points against Girona, and so we're going to be looking at the La Liga title, La Liga table, and see how that affects the La Liga title race. But before I get started on the video, guys, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Everything is posted down below, and as well, link to become a member is also posted down below. But as always, guys, let's get started with the video. All right, guys, let's get started with the video. And I want to talk about this moment right here between Raphinha and Hansi Flick. Now, this was an image that went viral after yesterday's match against Alaves. And when I first saw this photo, I thought that Hansi Flick, he looked in distress. He looked extremely worn out. He looked fatigued. He looked mentally exhausted. And the reports that are being mentioned was that Hansi Flick, he was number one frustrated and sad after the team's performance, but as well, he was also being frustrated by the red cards that was shown to goalkeeper coach José Ramón de la Fuente and Marcus Sorg towards the end of the match. And right there, Raphinha is telling him, hey, we will improve, we will be much better. And so those were the reasons why Hansi Flick, he was feeling a little bit upset, and that's why this image right here went viral. But also, this is my personal opinion, and I don't know if this is the case, but I do feel the pressure of managing Barcelona is affecting Hansi Flick. You see it in the press conferences. You see how he's talking about his style of play, about every single time he's in the press conference, he's defending his style of play, and he's talking about the highline. People are questioning him, and it's getting to a point where eventually I do think that Hansi Flick is going to have enough, and he's going to be departing the club. And this is absolutely mind-boggling because this is what Barcelona what they do best. We burn out the managers that have come into the club, and we really never have a manager last more than, I would say, 3 seasons. Pep Guardiola was here for 4, Luis Enrique was here for 3, and Ernesto Valverde, he wasn't a particularly great manager. He just had a amazing Lionel Messi and had veterans to lead him. But Hansi Flick, in my opinion, he's the best manager that Barcelona they've had since Pep Guardiola. Since Pep Guardiola, Hansi Flick is the best manager that we've had, and he's managed to turn Barcelona from rags to riches. We've seen how Barcelona struggled under Xavi, and you've seen the amount of resources that he's had at his disposal. You look at our rivals in Real Madrid, and you've seen that they spent in the summer 180 million euros compared to Barcelona's 25 million euros. Just signing Joan Garcia, a loan signing in Marcus Rashford, and a 3 million euro signing in Rooney Bardghji. Is that going to be able to compete against your Mbappés, against your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, against your Mastantuonos, against Real Madrid spending huge amounts of money, Carrelas as well, over the summer? This is why I think a lot more credit should be given towards Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick, he hasn't been financially supported by the club. Of course, the club support him. They want him to succeed. But we haven't had a big summer window in which Hansi Flick was given 200, 300 million euros and say, hey, sign whoever you want, and then we move on from there. And so regardless of what happens this season, regardless if Barcelona are able to win silverware or not, I'm behind Hansi Flick 100%. Even though, of course, we haven't played well in periods of the season, even though, things could have been done a lot better, Hansi Flick has all of my support. I'm fully backing him whatsoever. And before I even think about sacking Hansi Flick, before I even think about getting rid of him, I would rather sell half of the squad than get rid of Hansi Flick, because we do know how important a coach is in the modern day of football. A coach is able to absolutely transform how a team is able to be played. And so regardless of, the pressure and all the noise that is heading towards Hansi Flick's way in regards to the high line, in regards to some of the performances, he has the credit in the bank. He's shown what he can do last season, and all my support, and I would say the support for the Barcelona fan base should be going towards the way of Hansi Flick. We're all behind him, and as I said, my full support, my absolute full support goes towards Hansi Flick. But when we're talking, about players who, are feeling some of the pressure, we have to talk about Ronald Araujo as well, because he didn't feature in yesterday's match against Alaves, and we were talking about it before on the channel. We even had an episode in which we were discussing Ronald Araujo's situation. But Ronald Araujo, he has been hit very hard after that loss against Chelsea. That red card has really affected him. And of course, the Barcelona fan base getting on his back, absolutely berating him. That isn't going to be helping him whatsoever. And we've talked about, his mentality, his situation. But reports are saying that he is not going to be available for that game against Atletico Madrid in midweek because he didn't train today, and because those mental issues still persist. Apparently, he's affected even more in the matches against PSG or Inter Milan, which is absurd. I know it's crazy to think about it, but also because of those stomach problems. So it seems that is true. It seems it's both things can be true at once. He is ruled out for that game against midweek, and it's most likely that he's going to be available and returning for next weekend's match against Real Betis. And so, looking at Araujo's situation, we've talked about it before, but of course, we want Ronald Araujo to be back because we need players in the team. We want every single player available for Hansi Flick in order to have that, option and that availability to rely on him. But looking at these reports, it seems just mentally he's just not there. It seems that, when you're at Barcelona and competing at the highest level, expectations and pressures are so high that this is something that you're going to have to deal with. And if you can't handle this, if a red card in midweek, which wasn't even a knockout match, it wasn't a World Cup final, it wasn't anything like that, it was a group stage game. If that has affected you so much where you have to take a full reset, then we have to think about, hey, is this something that we can be looking to, is this a relationship that we can foster for the future? Is Ronald Araujo going to be a center back that we can count on for the foreseeable future? And we've talked about before, it's most likely that Ronald Araujo in the big games, he won't play a single minute. After that, bozo moment from Araujo, his trust in the Barcelona fan base is so minimal. But let's see how Araujo recovers and how he performs, because when he does receive his chance to come back into the team, we're going to need to see Araujo perform well and show that he's mentally ready to compete at Barcelona, because if not, the exit door is there. Simple as that. And the last piece of news that I did want to discuss with you guys today is in regards to Real Madrid, because Real Madrid earlier today, they did play Girona away from home, and they dropped points. They had a 1-1 draw, meaning that Barcelona, they are now league leaders. They are top of the La Liga table. Real Madrid are 1 point behind, and Barcelona, despite not playing well, having a billion injuries, we are top of La Liga. We are top of La Liga, and that means that we are in a better situation than Real Madrid, and that means that we're still alive in the La Liga title race. And so all those people that were counting Barcelona out, saying, Barcelona, they're not going to win anything, absolute nonsense. Barcelona, they're still alive in every single competition. There's so much to look forward to, this season. And Hansi Flick, the man who has put Barcelona in this position. And so there's things to be looking forward to. Things are optimistic. Real Madrid dropping points against Girona, absolutely fantastic. We got a favor for us. And so with that, Barcelona regained that #1 spot. But guys, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. What do you guys make of everything discussed in today's video? Let me know, how do you guys think this whole Hansi Flick situation is going to play out? Do you think that he's going to be, mentally fatigued? He's going to be looking for a way out at the end of the season? And as always, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Quiero en la vida, cuando me muera no quiero